Hello, tribe, welcome. Let's take a dive into the archives. Source Creator Absolute come through to bring clarity for my collective. And we're going to work with these homemade cards. They wanted to come out, they were calling to me to bring out the big dogs. So let's get a current situation for the collective, Spirit. Oh, spread peace. You guys are weaving peace. Everywhere you go, blessed be the peacemakers. That's you. That's a good situation. That's a problem we want to have. An abundance of peace is not a problem. Okay. So, where is this peace coming from? What's the center of this peace that they weave, Spirit? The Matrix. So some of you are taking the old system and transforming it into something amazing, back to the original grid, natural consciousness. So you've transmuted the Matrix from something twisted into something benevolent. Now I'm intrigued. Okay, how did they do it, Spirit? How did they do it? They did say alchemy. Okay. You've been shadow boxing with a lot of people to basically see each other's all-seeing eye came out to see each other in totality and see where you reflect each other. Like some people might reflect their shadows, and their shadows could have been fighting until finally they took accountability for their own stuff and stopped blaming it on someone else. And so that led to healing. It was like a big struggle, a big struggle. But it ended well. It ended in balance. You've been doing mirror work. So as I see it, it's hard to explain, but you could feel like someone is judging you, but really you're only feeling the energy that they're judging themselves. And you might take it personally when it's not your energy at all. But you have your own shadow, and they may pick up on your shadow, think you have a big ego when they really have a big ego. It's like this big reflecting mirror thing I see, where someone thinks that they're feeling their own energy, but they're really feeling someone else's energy so they can better understand what that person is feeling. And really it's not even yours. It's just Source giving you a glimpse of someone else's experience so you can better heal each other. And that's where the shadow boxing turns into the full picture. The mirror is complete. You're seeing each other clearly. So you're seeing each other through the matrix of the mind and matter. And that was a long battle to get there, struggling through the matrix. The matrix is a big network of grids and webs that can trap you and tangle your mind. But y'all untangled each other's minds. So it's kind of like a swapping places, but it happens in glimpses. And by doing that, you were able to untangle each other's consciousness quite a bit. By acknowledging your own flaws and taking accountability for your parts that you play. Okay. So you've been actively exercising healing your shadow by reflecting off other people's shadows and realizing that everything that you're doing to other people is happening back to you, and they feel the same way. So it's literally like swapping bodies, but it's like swapping consciousness, and you're feeling exactly how they feel, and it might even be connected to how you made them feel. And so God wants you to feel how you made them feel and realize that you're doing it to yourself, because each person is an aspect of God, and when we harm others, we harm ourselves. Except, so energetically doing harm will energetically punish you. God will punish people for that. If they do physical harm, you have to take physical action, but they will get karma energetically that will return right back to them. But this is like a case of some friendship. It's not like some evil person. They will suffer energetically for what they've done. They'll be miserable. But two friends could swap consciousness for just a moment to be able to see through the reflective, to see each other clearly. That's what this is saying. This is very interesting. Creating peace, utilizing what you already have, the machine. Letting your shadows work it out with other people to bring healing, not trouble. And constantly transmuting whatever you may find in yourself and others for the better. And you have the all-seeing eye working for you. So you're seeing it all right now. In yourself and others. You may feel like it's a giant kaleidoscope of reflections that you could never keep up with. Like I see like a disco ball at a big party. And every little side of the disco ball is a different reflection of a different person that you picked up on. And you have this all-seeing ability, like you could see the whole room all at once. You could see parallel realities, many parallel realities all at once. Ways that your personalities parallel each other in different realities. So parallels of your personality are reflecting through other people in an infinite kaleidoscope disco ball type of way. And the disco ball, the little sides on it are appearing as parallel realities that you've been jumping through. And it's like even crazier because there's like ways that you and your friends exist with different personality traits and stuff collected through different parallel realities. So if you're feeling like you're this all-seeing eye and you're seeing everything and it's coming back to you and you're feeling other people's feelings, there's ways that this is also playing out in a parallel dimension to our dimension where everything's kind of similar but a little different. And there's a parallel dimension to this dimension where you have friends that have your personality in this dimension, but in the other parallel dimension, they have your personality and different things are swapped around in the parallel because it's like slightly different. And that's what's leaking through, showing you glimpses, like deep glimpses into other people's psyche. It's actually like a glimpse into a parallel reality where the personality traits of people are different. And it's allowing you to create the bigger picture and seeing how, wow, infinite versions of you are connecting. Your friends connect on many timelines than just one. Many realities and parallels than just one. And it's almost as if you're like connected, like you're part of the same being. I'm not saying you're the same being, but some of you are in the same soul family and you have different traits that really deeply either repel or attract each other. And in one timeline, your traits could match just perfectly where everything attracts and everything works out. In another parallel, you could have traits that totally don't work together and you repel the people. So there's like little tiny measurements, corrections, made to tweak each different parallel reality so that it suits your truest identity. This is so weird. You have different identities and different realities all working together, and it's mirroring into people in your life who are of your same soul family. And they're almost like one in the same oversoul connection as you, overseer connection. It's a lot of moving parts, overseeing many parallels. Let's pull more cards. Alright, so your mind matrix is connecting to the mind matrix of alternate realities. That's reality for you. That's reality, that you're in many realities. And Spirit was saying, if you ever feel like you magically lose a friend or a loved one, like they just suddenly change overnight and they are not the same person, they might have jumped to a parallel reality where they're kind of not the same person. So Spirit shows people jumping parallel realities all the time, different versions of themselves, and each version is a little different. And so sometimes people come and go from different parallels. See, the matrix is broken, like the veil is broken, the system of control is broken, the machine is broken. You broke the machine. And now you have realities bleeding through to each other. Someone broke the machine, and then they connected, they're doing their mind matrix to the matrix of many parallel minds of themselves, even others. This is crazy what I see. This is beautiful. Hopefully that made sense. But if you ever, they're also saying like connections make or break as people shift through parallels. Okay. Clarify, Spirit. Y'all broke the matrix. Well, that makes sense. Telephone, telepathic, psychic, communication between different realms. Very potent, very obvious answer. So let's move on to the next energy. We got the game. Okay. Are we going to play the game? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. Will you participate? What's the game, Spirit? The game could be anything. Fork in the road. You're choosing how to find your own center that matches you perfectly. Okay, and your nice balance. There's a nice balance in there. And you're realizing it doesn't have to be like this versus that, like the damned versus the saved. I mean, that's on God's terms, not yours. So, clarify the game. So the game has something to do with forks in the road. Having to choose a pathway. You might need to choose a pathway when it comes to this parallel telepathic communication. What do you mean? Or there's going to be chaos. This even says find middle ground. The future is unclear. So something about you guys ripping down the network that holds the machine together. You're going to sew it back together like an original fabric with original designs. And you're going to create a new fabric that holds consciousness with a new design. Do it in your mind, connected to these other timelines. The new fabric I see is beautiful and natural and glowing. Every color is vibrant. Everyone is vibrant in the new fabric. And you're throwing it over consciousness to replace the old matrix. And you're stabilizing the quantum, because something has ripped open the quantum. I'm telling you, everything is bleeding through everywhere and jumping around everywhere, but that's good. We gotta rip it down first. Now we can cloth it to build some kind of security net for consciousness. Or we can just let it fly free and see what happens. But there's something about one of you guys ripping open the fabric of consciousness, like when you ripped down the matrix, and you lost a lot of friends from it because they all started jumping timelines. And you're kind of the center here, like the same source self that you always were, while so many others have shifted and changed around you. You've stayed the center focus, especially for this quantum calculation, convergence, this quantum convergence. Everything's converging within you, all these different parallels. There's something I'm not saying fully enough about the parallels because they've shown it to me a bunch of times. The disco ball keeps flashing. I guess this could be a new symbol from the archive, the disco ball or the kaleidoscope or something like that. Everything bouncing around off each other, and it's trying to find a settled place to land, and it's going to land in your center. So you opened up all of your chakras and kundalini. That's what activated this tear, was literally your energy being so powerful and potent and charged that it ripped open the fabric, the false fabric, the old fabric. And now you're quilting, in an esoteric sense, quilting a new fabric for consciousness. And once you throw it over consciousness as a whole, it stabilizes order and structure. Even just for yourself, but okay. And when you ripped open consciousness, you found the center of the quantum. That's how you've been able to stabilize so much chaos, is you were floating amongst an infinite abyss and you found a way to stabilize the vibration, and that's where you find the center of the chaos. And you became the center. You centered the chaos. You stabilized it by embodying peace, like they talked about in the beginning here. So we have you are moving invisible. Very good. We just talked about the cloak in the last reading. That's what this card's talking about, the cloak. Some of you might have acquired the cloak since we last spoke, where you can move invisible. Like they were saying, if you reestablish the center for the quantum that you've also established in yourself, it might help friends and family to stop shifting timelines so much. They're like sleepers. They don't even know they're shifting, but you notice it. You notice people are different. Things are shifting around you. So if you stabilize the cloak that you wear, like the cloak, the fabric that's over consciousness, as well as the cloak that you wear, kind of link them up, invoke the cloak, then it might stop friends and family from portaling all over the quantum. They portal because they're kind of sleepers, so they don't know how to travel out there. And they don't even know that they could be jumping around constantly through parallels. And so you might have to be the one to correct it. Right now it says, purge archonic energy. So people could be acting all kinds of out of pocket or negative or aggressive to you when they normally don't act like that to you. Because some of the codes that unlock and lock the fallen system are what I call archonic code. Archonic code stabilizes the false matrix. And the archons are the fallen gatekeepers of the false fabric. But the gatekeepers that are the divine gatekeepers are of the higher consciousness grid. So some of you, by ripping down the matrix, you freed a bunch of archonic code and now has nowhere to go. So I literally see this like grid of the matrix over the consciousness, and someone cuts it with scissors, like magical scissors, and the whole thing unfrays, and then all of these little archonic codes come out of the fray, and they're flying around in the quantum with nowhere to go. So I feel like I'm just giving myself a bunch of homework to correct archonic code. But that archonic code is what's been traveling through, traveling around, kind of making people like aggressive or angry or something. So people might be acting all kinds of funny to you and not even know that they jump timelines or realities, right? And it's because they're picking up on archonic code that's floating around that got scattered when the matrix grid shattered. It scattered archonic code. So we're going to do some reprogramming. Let's just throw this new blanket because it's already made. There's this like colorful, extravagant design, this quilt, this blanket, this fabric. You can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. It's already been designed by a higher mind being thrown over. So right now, people should start being a little bit kinder to you. So where is the archonic code going to go, Spirit? Where is it going to go? Okay, you already know. It's most likely going to go deep into an abysmal pit that it will never be able to escape. Because that was what I was thinking. I was seeing them all getting sucked into like a black hole pit that goes on and on forever. All this code. Literally being sucked into like a black hole. Okay. Change is afoot. The winds of change. An oasis awaits. Good. So, Cosmos is also clearing this code out of outer space, greater space. As you clear it out of your space, the cosmos can do nothing but reflect back at you the energy work that you do. So, everything you do for yourself, you do for the collective. Everything you do against the collective, you do against yourself. In the end. So it's either going to go for you or against you based on these forks in the roads, these big choices you're forced to make. But you don't want to always give people what they want or they'll walk all over you. You don't want to always be like a raging bitch and push everyone away. But I think you value honesty. So if you would talk to yourself blunt and honest, you would talk to others blunt and honest. And that's still benevolent. Creativity. So Spirit wants you to use your creativity to create change or embody change. This change has already been created. You only have to embody it. So your creativity is a form of prayer. So your ability to transform like the matrix, the fallen, into something divine, or purge it into a place where it'll never hurt anybody. You know what to do and when to do it. And you do it through creative means. And specifically, I just see you able to take any unwanted energy and transform it, okay? Change its form. So there's something that you're supposed to be praying on, but it's like creative prayer. Just like tapping into the magic of God is like creative prayer. You got love. Okay. So, there are some things that are human consciousness that we created out of our own damn imaginations. And there are greater worlds and gods and goddesses that are far beyond the human imagination. And you gotta know the difference between what was like self-delusionally created or what was divinely inspired by greater forces than human. Both exist, so chicken or the egg or whatever. Did the gods create us or did we create the gods? We created most of the gods through belief and reinforcing those beliefs and ritualistically reinforcing those beliefs. But the true gods, the actual gods, are the embodiment of the most organic, raw energies that ever existed. So they're not human creation. They came before human creation. So once you rip down the false system, you'll start to see the real gods and goddesses. And they're way beyond any little trick your mind could have ever played on you, you know. We got overly polarized. So someone feels overly polarized. About the future. The future is never set in stone, but the highest potentials are always shown. Okay. So that's an interesting thing. I was actually thinking about this quite a bit. I do a lot of transformation work to heal my trauma or to heal the past or to heal the quantum or whatever it may be. And once I heal it, it feels like it resolves and it kind of disappears. And then I almost can't recall the things that are resolved, and I think that's the point. But the thing is you don't want to suppress things. You want to work through it as it arises, heal it as it arises so it doesn't create a permanent attachment to you. And once you constantly heal and face trauma or whatever, it starts to no longer even rise or rise. It never rises to rise within you ever, really much, very much ever, when you're really good at just shifting, correcting, negative to positive. And don't be surprised if it seems like the past stuff basically disappears, because it does. You change the energy for the better, the past trauma does change. And it might even be hard to recall it. And some people enjoy like basking in their trauma, honestly, but I don't. And so the fact that there's so much trauma that I healed, that it's gone, it's gone, it's done, it's in the past. I'm proud of that. But it's not to suppress things. Otherwise, you will just become full of chaos. You know, you got to honor chaos and order as one and the same. Part of the human experience as they arise and fall together. But the more you do it and become more masterful at it, the polarization softens quite a bit. And it becomes easier and easier every time. And you don't even want to dig for the past anymore. You're actually content that everything is solved. Alright, why is this coming up? Apparently there's a karmic male that you healed in this process, that you healed through this process, that was making you jump between extremes. There was like extreme like confidence and then extreme like insecurities. You're really naturally confident, but someone's been sowing seeds of insecurity in you for a long time. Someone very karmic. And you're finally like over it. You're really not even letting it affect you. Like you really cut the cord for real. There's no little ways for them to keep their claws on you. You're done. And you probably feel set free from their problems and having to deal with their horrible energy all the time. You probably felt connected to someone's bad energy all the time and tried to help them all the time. And now that you seriously cut the cord, you feel like you're like without a care in the world. Yeah, all of that stuff you were carrying was theirs. So good for you to actually cut the cord. And to cut the cord, you have to really be done sometimes. Really, really done. For real. So I pulled, what goes up must come down. You've earned your wings, and you've learned how to pivot your angle as an angel. That's what this card says. So you've changed the angle of how you view the past. Really, that's what you're doing when transmuting and alchemizing, is creating a new angle of healing for the energy to travel upon or along. And so all the peace that you feel is reward for doing the work. You've earned your wings. You've earned all kinds of advancements. Your wings are like both your left side and your right side. The left-hand path, the right-hand path. This is something else I've been thinking about. There's like the left-hand side of us. It's like you're always doing something wrong and it's all critical. And then there's the other side that's always like, oh, like, let's be sweet and nice and take care of people. And there's like the demon and the angel, and the demon's like, no, no, no. And the angel's like, yes, 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 you can do it. You can't do it. And it's really funny because you have to have both to be imbalanced. If you don't have the critic, you'll always be like gassing yourself up so much that you'll be living in illusions. But if you don't gas yourself, you'll be stuck in that self-loathing place. And so they're actually supposed to bounce ideas off each other, the critic and the cheerleader inside of you, to bring balance, to give you answers. And it's really interesting because I've been thinking a lot. How much of these energies that we deal with, these guides and stuff, are just ours, or are they really guides from another world? And it's kind of both. It's actually both. Some of those little thought forms that guide you are your own damn creation, and some are much greater. And you'll know how to do this, to know the difference, is to test the energy. So if you feel like you're dealing with a thought form, ask them very detailed questions, pressure them, and if they can't hold up under your pressure, they're probably a thought form. If they can answer really detailed questions in ways that go beyond what you know personally, but they're saying things you don't already know, and they can hold the conversation and they can keep providing more information, that's a real being. Thought forms always crumble because they're dependent on you. So they can only be an extension of your thoughts. But real deities and gods and goddesses and stuff are not just an extension of your thoughts, so they don't crumble under pressure. That's a good way to find what's this from that sometimes in the spirit world. Okay. So being able to see these things for yourself is like having both dual aspects, both wings, okay? The light wing and the dark wing. The light wing of consciousness and the dark wing of consciousness. Like, the wing of a building or something. A wing of what you built and are building. Building what you built with your wings, or what you've embodied with your wings. So hiding. That karmic male is likely hiding from you. I instantly saw him again when I pulled hiding. Can't face you, can't face what he's done to you. He'll probably run from it for as long as he possibly can until he's forced to meet his maker in himself and God. So thought forms are meeting their maker as well. Yeah, get behind me, you're safe. Whoever's literally targeted you for so very long, I mean relentlessly, in such an evil way, they're going to have to fight God, not you. Fight Jesus. Get behind me, you're safe. The fight is now gone to the higher powers. That person was so aggressive to you that now they have to answer for it straight to God. And they can't find any back route to get out of it. They like to try to get out of facing their karma, but they won't. Just I specifically see when they die and go to the next life, they're going to get hit by a wall where they have to face God face to face and say what the fuck they did and admit what they did to God, or they will not get past the gate. Because they can't admit what they did to anyone, not even themselves. But to get past the gates, they're going to have to admit what they did to God. And they can't lie, and God knows if they're lying. And everything, a good thread, everything they did to you, you're going to get rewarded. They're going to suffer while you get rewarded. All the suffering that they did and put on you goes back to them. You might have had to feel it for a while, but it's all being sucked out of you and back to who it came from. They're going to feel like they're suffering every single evil thing they ever did to you. Even if they have to suffer in the next life. They're running from karma their whole human life. But in the next life, they can't run anymore. And when they meet their maker, they meet God. That means they're going to meet karma. And meeting that is meeting yourself. And every evil thing you ever did will be done back to you exactly. And that person knows that's waiting for them. For what they did to you to hurt you. And the reason why you had to do so much healing. Just to feel good today. This person. They were on a mission to hurt you. A very cruel mission. And that's the truth. It's not to like... Yeah. So, like the mirror said, they might have said you were out to get them, but they were really feeling the energy that you were feeling, that they were out to get you. And they weren't able to distinguish the difference between what is theirs and what is not theirs. But really, they might have played victim a lot when they were really the one targeting people, and they were feeling all these people's pain that they had targeted coming back to them, and then they started thinking they were the victim when they were really just feeling karma for what they did to other people, to victimize other people. It was done back to them. It was their own curse that they put on themselves. They fell on their own sword, in their own trap, whatever. That's God's doing. Alright, Spirit, what else you got? Yeah, that's God's doing. And God's favor comes out. So you're on the right path to keep beauty amongst chaos. Embrace chaos as necessary, but you're a celebrity for your ability to be beautiful under God's light. When God shines a light on you, it shines beauty. Inner and outer beauty. When God shines a light on these other people, it shows a lot of cruelty that they've done. So I see God taking time to shine a light on every person's karma. And some people love it because they have dharma, they have good karma. And so God's like, here you go, I'm going to illuminate all your dharma so everyone can see how great you are. But then he shines a light on a wicked person, and that person has nothing but bad karma. And God's like, well, I'm still shining a light on it, so everyone's going to see how evil you are. But eventually, by them seeing that, hopefully they'll heal from it. And they'll stop doing what they've done. By feeling how wicked they are, they'll stop doing it, hopefully. Again, this is in the energy world. Ooh, you have a fated male. Respects you. Golden rule. Treat each other how you want to be treated. Who respects the golden rule. Fairy tale relationship. Healing each other through this fairy tale energy. And this respect is healing like a fairy tale with somebody who's fated to cross your path, truly. That's good. Alright. Well, let's see. Anything else? So we got duality and tend to your altar. So you may be becoming more centered, less dualistic. You have both sides, but when you're centered, you can be the navigator, steering the ship or whatever. And these altered states of consciousness, put them on the altar to be healed. Someone loves your different sides. Like, they love that you have, somebody loves that you have a bunch of different sides, personalities or something. That you could be like the ice queen or the summer queen or king. But put your alternate selves on the altar to be examined by God. I don't know why, just do it. That's what God said. So a journey through different worlds all going on at the same time. Connected in your mind, it could even feel chaotic, like these connections are overwhelming. If you feel like you're dealing with like a multiples of yourself all the time, Two of Pentacles, different worlds all at once. And then you're on like this deep inner journey with it, with the Hermit. Ten of Swords, it's like overwhelming your mind. It's a lot. It's a lot of characters. Like, you might have to cut down on how many characters are playing in your head all the time for your own damn sanity. But there are people, if you can't control it, but you can if you practice. But if you can't and you don't think you can, there are people who will love you for it. They'll find you interesting in every different personality. Okay. So, you've been aligning your will with the will of the divine. Okay? You're like tending to your space, your mind, your spirit as a garden. Okay? And you're allowing God's will to really be the center that you find amongst the chaos, the order in the chaos. It establishes itself through you and your ability to weed through what is serving you and what is not in your mind. And realize you have the ability to change it because you have authority. So expect somebody to come through just like riding on waves of love, okay? They're in the power of love, and that's the willpower of God. And they definitely care about you, but messages of love even coming through like in powerful or sensual ways through the mind, like traveling beyond the limits of time and space, and you're connecting with someone beyond the limits of time and space, the power of love, loving messages and feelings coming through the quantum, connecting people as well. Yeah, connecting people, Three of Pentacles, working with others, but it's out of love. We're never out of love, but it's within so much love. You have so much love within for this person. And they pull you out of depression probably. They're like a sunshine, a light in your life. So you've probably been feeling more elated just by this connection. So you got a fated female or a fated male. Okay? And we're going to leave it happy and not pull any negative cards. Because I'm happy. Let's pull some of this one. This was my deck that I freaking spilled coffee all over, that I've had for like 15 years, but it survived. Thank God. But I haven't used it much. Let's see what she has to say. My vintage oracle. Vintage. Reflection. The mirror is healing between all beings. Speak it as if you already know. Because what you know will manifest, materialize. Okay, you're materializing through your willpower, creative will, over the physical. You have creative will over the physical. Pouring your intentions into healing these reflections. With kindness and love. Spirit always says love is the answer. Love is the key. Love is how you transform any energy. If you can't conjure up love within yourself, you can't conjure up any kind of magic. Love is the fuel for the magic. Wisdom, give grace for your grace to the shadow boxing thing. You're wise for how you've been able to see yourself in each other and not just jump the gun to judgment, but take time to see where the pieces fall and align between you and others, and realize there's workings much greater than the mundane that are at play. So when you activate your chakras fully, it's like it rips down the old system with everyone who activates their online in the higher system, and the old system gets ripped down. And as it's ripped down, it causes a lot of the sleepers to get really aggravated and what's it called? I don't know, triggered. You triggered the sleepers by activating your quantum body and stuff, and it's like a natural polarization where you became so active that everyone else around you was forced to bring their demons to the light. It's like you're the light now because you're active, and all their demons are like, we can't stand the light, and they all come squirming out to the surface, and you gotta witness all that. But that's gotta come out to the surface, and then it can be healed, right? Show itself so it can be healed. People's demons show themselves to be healed around you, because you naturally just suck them out of people because you're so high frequency. They can't help it. Anything else, Spirit? Well, I think that's going to be all for this reading. It's okay to have beauty be more important than any nonsense and destruction. You can stay beautiful, baby. Stay beautiful. Spirit says stay beautiful. Don't let anyone try and tell you you're not. You are. I'm going to call that good for this reading. See if there's anything else Spirit wants to say right now. Anything, Spirit? What's the final card for today? Clairsentience, feeling yours or others' energy. Build grid systems, connect with nature, and it'll balance out the quantum for you. But I'll do it as well. Just accept the energy. You're good. Well, I'm going to call that a good for this reading. I'll talk to you all in another video. Take care.